This is the bathroom that we're just going to remove the wallpaper and carefully remove these. Oh no, that escalated quickly. Where's the tub? Okay, shower pan. Party backer with a niche. Waterproof, and now learn how to tile. We'll put some shiplap over the flaws on the walls. And now try to pick a gray. Found a vanity, and the toilet we wanted went on sale. We sprayed the walls and everything turned out so great we made our first TikToks. We cleaned the floors, picked a tile, second guessed a tile, and got everything waterproofed. Now we're ready to tile. We installed some glass doors, did a little bit of plumbing work, and then a little bit of electrical. Found a mirror, sprayed it to match. Whoa! That's the same bathroom? It was worth it all.
I'm gonna plug this light. Oh my god! It's so pretty! Is it? Yes!
With the quick fuse, I was uptight, wanna let loose, I was dreaming.
Good night. Sleep tight.
This is going to serve as RB4 for my dressing room. It's going to be painted, and it is a mess right now because it has become our junk room. And this light will be gone. It's not going away forever. It's just not going to be in this room. And yeah, so hopefully this will be done sooner than later. wanted to see the kitchen, well, it's a hot mess. For one, we've got these lovely cabinets and amazing green tile. The space overall, though, is pretty large, and the woodwork is original, but it is painted, and I don't think it was originally. The other thing that may be original is this door, and I only say that because the overall square design matches, and the plate where the doorknob would have been is about the same size as the rest of our doorknobs. But yeah, overall, if you want to see what I'm planning for this kitchen, just let me know. Or if you have any suggestions, I'm totally open to all of them.
Today's video is a DIY. I'd wanted to transform this plain white IKEA table for a long time, and I came into some parquet flooring. I'll explain later where I got it from. But I thought that I would show you how I transformed this IKEA table into an amazing dining table and matching bench. So some of you might know that I used to work in the theatre. I actually worked there for 14 years at a theatre here in Colchester. And just before they were going to knock down the building I used to work in, several of the staff reclaimed the parquet flooring, and I managed to get my hands on some thanks to my friend Bex. And I decided that I wanted to clad a dining table and a bench in the wooden floor that I walked on for 14 years. It's got a lot of memories in it, this wood, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to use it. So the table is the IKEA Melt Up. I've had it quite a while. It is a metal framed table, powder coated metal with a removable top. And I decided that I wanted to utilise the lower frame and actually purchase a new top that I could attach the parquet to. The reason for this was that I just thought it would be easier, and also I wanted an ever so slightly bigger top just to increase the size of my dining table slightly. I also have two chairs from La Redoute. I've had these for a while. I think they're designed for the office or the kitchen. And so I've decided to utilise these as well, and I'm going to paint the wooden bottom half in the same black paint as I'll eventually be doing the table. Now originally I thought that I would powder coat it black using spray, which I did. I primed it with a primer and then sprayed it with a matte black spray. So my new tabletop is a simple piece of 12mm MDF, which I had cut to size. Now, if we weren't in the middle of lockdown, I possibly would have just gone to B&Q and got them to chop it in store for me. However, I had to order it online and have it delivered, and that's just because of the way things are at the moment. The original tabletop was attached by 8 long screws with some rubber spacers in between, which were white. I actually ordered myself some nice black rubber spacers off eBay, just so the whole thing would be black. And I'm going to mark out where I need to put the holes in the new tabletop so I can screw the top onto the frame. I found a great DIY tutorial online to make a parquet table, and that was on Fall for DIY's blog, and I'll link it in the description box. And I followed her method exactly because it was so easy to use. use. The only difference is that she was using brand new parquet and I'm using obviously an older parquet and one that's been cut by hand. So mine were a little bit less even and less neat than hers. So I think hers was probably a little bit easier. However, her method is great. One of the things she says to do is to find the center of your tabletop and then fix in 2 nails along the center line and tie some string to it. And that's what you're going to use to line up your parquet. Next, you're going to take your first 8 to 10 boards and you're going to find the center of them and mark that center point with a pencil or chalk. You're also going to make a line approximately 10 centimeters down the tabletop, and this is where you're going to start your parquet design. So you're going to start piece by piece lining up the center mark on the piece of parquet with the string. It's really important that these first pieces are really accurate because this is what you're going to build your design out from. And then it's time to start gluing. I'm using Gorilla Glue wood glue, which is just really strong, really good. And I'm just going to cover all the backs of the boards and reposition them. You can still move them around once you've put the glue on for a little while, but once it starts to go off, they are then set. And then you're going to build out and glue down the design from there. You don't need the center marks anymore. You can just make sure that each parquet piece is pushed right up against the others. All have slightly different depths to them. And I wish that at the gluing stage, I'd paid more attention with trying to line them up next to each other with similar depths. I ended up with a lot of bumps and lips, and that did take me a lot of work later on. So I covered the majority of the table in parquet with some of it overhanging, and then I actually utilised the original tabletop, which is quite heavy, to weight the whole thing down and leave it to set overnight. So next day when the glue is all set, I've marked out where I need to trim off all the excess along the line of the new tabletop, and my plan is to use a jigsaw to just cut off all those excess boards. Up from the jigsaw. And once it's all trimmed, it's now time to sand the top. So I'm going to dismantle the top and take it outside because it is a very dusty job. I'm going to be trimming my table and my bench with this wooden trim, which is about 6 centimeters deep. And so I'm just going to use a little hand plane just to plane off any uneven bits. So when I come to put on the trim, it's going to lie, well, as flat as it can with my jigsaw in. But yeah, I used the plane just to level the sides of the table out as much as I could. And then I've laid my tabletop on the floor so that I can sand it. I'm using a Bosch battery powered orbital sander, which they loaned me along with the other tools to complete this project. So I'm going to filler some of the gaps between the boards. I've actually made my own filler using the sanding dust and some of the Gorilla Glue, and I'm actually just going to apply it into the cracks between just some of the big ones that are kind of a little bit obvious because the boards are a bit wonky, and then I'm going to wipe off the excess with a damp cloth, and I'm going to do this over the whole tabletop.
My name is Sora, and I recently made the most important investment of my life. I previously lived on 5 acres of wooded land in a 20-foot fifth wheel and bell tent. After the land sold last summer, I downsized, and I've just been living in the fifth wheel with my dog Finley. Living tiny for the first time these last few years has allowed me to realize my long-term needs. I've been dreaming of a space I could comfortably host friends in, and somewhere my dog and I could move our bodies a little bit more freely. So last week I bought this. a 36-foot 1950s classic Bulls Aero Park model I've named Sorona. It's like a spaceship and time capsule, and I'm in absolute disbelief. On the back there is an old label that reads, The Lovers. She's been stored indoors for the past 10 years, and now she's my home. She's move-in ready after a good cleaning, and I already have a full list of projects, big and small. I knew she would find me when the time is right, and it is. Stick around for updates. I'm Sora, and this is my park model Sorona. Two things have made this experience very wild. One being the battle between old and new narratives. I used to believe I wouldn't be healthy enough to own my own home, or that I was undeserving of it. I've been quickly dismantling that one. But the other being that I am currently very sick. I couldn't have done this without my parents, who drove down and met me the day the trailer was delivered. The first thing we did was tarp it. The roof is solid, but it does need completely resealed, the first of the larger projects. Mom and I got busy deep cleaning surfaces, drawers, and cupboards. I was, and still am, softened and in disbelief. The contrast of what's happening inside of my body and outside in my world is intense, but absolutely perfect. I've long pined for home, a place that wouldn't change, no matter my varying state of health. My stepdad built me steps, Mom and I had a dance. The deep cleaning continued and lists were made for future projects. Furniture dumped, furniture sold. Stay tuned. Welcome back. I'm Sora, and this is my journey with Sorona, my park model. Simultaneously, while cleaning and moving into Sorona, I'm moving out of my last camper. There's both grief and excitement as I pack things up, but it feels so right because I'm passing her on to a dear friend of mine. I got rid of the mattress and began filling the space with my belongings, and oh my gosh, this place feels like a palace. Everything has its place, and I even have storage to spare. And then I began shampooing and shampooing. This shampooer didn't cut it, so I had to bring out the big guns. And luckily there were no foul smells, but it was murky for quite a while. On my last morning in the camper, I felt my body ask for just one more night, please, to which I replied, it's time to let go. My new curtains arrived, and I had a lot of fun hanging those up. And then my new rug. And then my chairs and a table. It's happening. I'm Sora, and this is Finn, and this is our journey making Sorona our park model home. This morning we woke up on a lake, or our little castle had a moat. Either way, it was really magical. Finley and I have been using this week to adjust, recover, and rest from all the big moving. I did yoga for the first time in 2.5 months since my relapse this morning. My body started asking for it earlier this week, and it's a big deal to feel ready for that type of movement again. I took it slowly and checked in and had a little bit of an awakening, welcoming that part of myself back. My furniture is slowly trickling in, giving me small projects every few days. Tonight I built this bookshelf. And each small project makes this space that home that I've always known but never stepped into until now. Thanks for coming along, everyone. I'm Sora, and this is Sorona, my new home. It's been a busy week. We stopped by a lovely estate sale and grabbed some goodies that match my new color schemes, said hello to the ocean, and began assessing the weekend's projects. Curtains to be hemmed, ovens to be fixed, hair to be trimmed, and so much more. I don't know what I would do without them. Many have asked if I would share my experience with Crohn's currently, and I'm always happy to share. Simultaneously, while being the happiest and proudest I've ever been, my entire large intestine is lined with bleeding ulcers. I'm on a high dose of steroids and now biologic therapy to try and get the inflammation under control, avoid complications and surgery. And while it feels big and scary, my gratitude and excitement for each day is much bigger. I'm Sora, and this is Sorona, my new 36-foot vintage park model.